This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield.
Checking the microphone. It's going good.
It's going real good. Good morning, Recovery Nation. Yeah. Sorry. We're just doing it early today, and it's it seems weird.
It does feel weird.
It seems really weird. 217 Recovery Podcast. It is the 12th of September, 2020. My name is Corey Winfield. Marnie Liston.
Hey.
Hey. My name's not both of them, obviously. I was saying my name and then yours.
Let's clear that up.
Yeah. So the last few days have been very interesting for moi.
Yeah?
I'm not sure what that was, but I'm not even sure if that picked that up on the microphone or whatever, that ding ding. But it's been very interesting last couple days. I got to drive a guy downstate, and it was a good couple-hour drive and good conversations with him. And it puts me back, to where when I had a month sober and the things that I was doing, I was actually going to rehab when I was a month sober for the last time. Thank God. And the thoughts, and it shows you, or at least it showed me, I've changed a lot since then, since 3 months sober. And I'm afraid to go back and listen to podcasts from over a year ago because I don't know where my mind was at. Good direction I think I was going in, but how I was going to get there, I didn't know.
Uh-huh.
But I think the unknown can be refreshing sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
In early recovery, I had a guy write a very nice message to me on Facebook. It made me feel good about myself, and it made me feel like the purpose that I do the podcast is for people like him. And he's early, like a week, and it's hard for him. But he knows at the end of the day, though, he's tired of promising things to people that he loves and not delivering on it. Mm-hmm. And it's not because he doesn't want it to happen. It's because he's not sure how to, say no. He can go a week, 2 weeks, promises this, promises that, takes that first drink, it's on. Mm-hmm. And then he feels like he failed. It feels shamed. And it just starts all over again, the cycle. Mm-hmm. My advice, and that's cool, he listens to the podcast. And he didn't really ask me for my advice, but I'm going to give it anyway, man.
You would.
Just set up some therapy sessions. Really get that stuff out. Do you need outpatient therapy for your addiction? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what everybody else needs. And we can't save anybody else.
No, absolutely not.
So he'll have to try to figure that out. And not everybody needs to go to a rehab. Mm-hmm. Some people can lay down the groundwork and the foundation of, all right, I talk to a therapist, I do this. But in my opinion, that stuff does need to be done. Sure. I've ran into people at, AA meetings, and they're like, well, I just stopped drinking, and that was 20 years ago. I just stopped. And that to them, they probably think, I am a sobriety badass. Because when I stopped, I just stopped. Well, I look at him like, you didn't have the same problem I did, buddy. Because mine was way different, and if it takes you 20 times, 30 times, whatever, man. I mean, I didn't go to rehab every time I relapsed either. So, and I say I've been to treatment 15 times. So, I mean, what does that tell you?
Oh, gosh, I can't even count how many times I relapsed.
And
does it even count as a relapse if it's only a certain, if the desire is there? For me, when I relapsed, it was when I actually was had forward movement, was starting to get things in place, things were starting to happen for me. And then, I went back out. That is what I considered a relapse. But there was times where, literally, it wasn't even, it was just, I was keeping everything going. I mean, I was in the spot like the individual that reached out to you is, I had gone back out, and then I couldn't find the strength in me to make those efforts again. And it took way too long, too many times, to make that decision again, that I was going to give it a real shot. And, until the time that it actually took,
Right.
and I ran with it, and I was just like, this is going to be it. This is going to be the time that I'm putting my all into it. And, and then one more day and one more day and one more day. And then, here I am now, and it's still a day at a time. It truly is. But, don't beat yourself up over going back out, and just know that, you're worth it, and it can be done. If you set your mind to it, and if you utilize the supports that are available to you, and do the things that you need to do, which some of the stuff is not fun,
Don't say that. It's all fun. What are you talking about? I love crying when I talk about my father. I'm a 42-year-old grown-ass man. I love crying like that.
No, you got to dig deep. Yeah, you get into that, all that hurt and pain that you went through, and sort through it all, and it's process. But that's exactly it. It's totally a process, and it does not happen overnight. No,
and don't think that you're going to, it's because my father abandoned me. Let's just deal with this issue all right today.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen that way.
No, it does not.
And if you've listened to previous podcasts, how I handle it, in my mind, there's like a little shelf, and I just put it up there like, hey, you know what? I know this is up there. Mm-hmm. But that's the hard part, it's finding, okay, what is it? Because you had to dig deep in yourself, and you have to admit things to yourself that you don't want to admit. It's our ego. It's the view of ourselves. And we don't want to see ourselves as weak or vulnerable. But you have to keep, they call it peeling back the onion, get those layers out, because you might associate it with, well, I had a bad day at work. F my boss, he really pissed me off. Mm-hmm. Is it that? Or is it he was displaying some kind of, or making you feel, not making you feel, but creating some kind of feeling in you that someone else way down the road created in you, and you hate that. It could have been a stepmom. It could have been the way your mom or dad talked to you. It could have been anything from your childhood. And that's the real issue. It's not that your boss told you that you suck and you did that wrong. Maybe he used the same words that your grandma would use when she would yell at you. Who knows? The teacher. Brother, who knows? There's something in there, though, that you have to dig deeper in. And, for me, I used to blame, women in the relationships. Oh, she wasn't right for me. No, and it wasn't the women. It was me. And it was still the issue of being away from family, and the fact that I didn't want to be like my father. And here I am, just leaving family. And my family, they have their own lives too. And this is something that really, it was hard for me to figure out, because when I moved back, after 10, 15, whatever, how long it was way back, they weren't kids anymore. My little brother was getting married. My sister was already married, 3 kids. They have their own life. They're not going to just drop everything and, hey, Corey's here. Let's make sure we roll out the carpet for him every single day just in case he comes by. Not that I expected that, but I expected to be around more. And I had unrealistic expectations of what our relationships would be like when I moved back home. And that was hard, because it's like, hey guys, you've been waiting for me. I'm here. It's like they say we're the star of our own movie. Mm-hmm. Here I am rolling out the carpet for myself. What's up, guys? Uncle Corey, wait, nobody's home. I'm going to go cry. I'm going to drink, Mm-hmm. I wish I would have been more prepared for that, because that one kind of threw me for a loop as well. But, once you realize those things, and you realize, hey, this is what's going on in the real root of the cause, like I said, that it takes some time sometimes to figure that out. But when you do, don't beat yourself up, just chip away at it. But just the fact that it's in there, and that it's up there and ready to be dealt with one day, then, at least for me, I was able to move forward in my recovery and go, okay, well, now how do I stay sober? Because just not drinking, not using drugs, that wasn't going to work for me. I needed to have a proactive plan. a plan of attack. What do I need to do? Well, I'm going to start a podcast. I'm going to start a company. We're going to be a 501c3 nonprofit, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to be a charity. Well, what are you going to do then? I don't know. Let's drive people around. People need transportation. If you've ever been to a treatment center and you've taken a bus, you know how dangerous that is, especially when you're stopping at gas stations that sell beer and the driver's like, don't be drinking on it. No, whatever, man. Like, you really don't care. And so many people, I've heard so many stories of just getting drugs and messed up at those bus stops or at any stop that bus makes. And it just makes perfect sense that, a company like 217 Recovery could be there to help with transportation, get people from point A to point B safely. And I think that the way that we're going to operate and the way we are operating is wonderful. And, we've partnered with a place here in Traverse City, and, I'm very grateful in how it happened and how it worked out exactly how God wanted it to, and exactly the right people playing roles. And just a miracle. If you listen to the podcast like a month ago, here I am bitching about what a bad day and this guy didn't show up for them. It had to happen that way. Absolutely did. And, I thank God every day for giving me opportunities and the people he's put in my life, like you. I mean, you keep me going like you have no idea. And, I don't show it enough, and, I try, but I need to stop trying and actually do. So it's hard sometimes when you get caught up in your own feelings. And like I said, being the star of your own movie takes up a lot of my time. But, thanking God and noticing when things are happening in your life, and really write them down. If you're in like super early recovery or if you're in long-term, whatever, just write them down and look back at them in 3 months, 6 months, and you're going to go, oh my gosh, like, I remember when I was thinking that, and this is what I wanted, and this is what happened. It's a miracle. I tell people this all the time, that I only have almost, coming up on 2 years, but the life that I live now is so much better than I could even imagine. Like, it's just insane. Being sober and being clear-minded is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Mm-hmm. And I think that God had me on the path that he had me on was so that I could be here talking to this microphone today. The radio experience that I had, the drinking experience that I had, the trying to get sober experiences that I had. I mean, some of them are damn right comical. I was telling you yesterday about this guy that, I don't know, I'm sure I could have taken him, but my goal wasn't to fight him in a rehab, but I just was having one of those days, man. And this dude came in and he was like, one eye looked over here, their eye was like straight up 90 degrees. Yeah. And he was just talking crap, and I just did not want to hear it anymore. And he was just bitching why he was there. And I'm like, you don't have to be here. And I said some other things way cooler than that. But he started in on the lady who was running the group. And I was like, why don't you just leave this room? I didn't say it like that. It was like,
I'm sure.
Shut the F up or get the F out of here. Nobody wants to hear your beep. And then he's like, what, you want to fight me? I was like, did I say I want to fight you? I said, I want you to leave this room or shut the... And anyway, he tried getting up in my face, and I just stood there and I was like, what? He's like, what you going to do? What you going to do? I was like, I don't know. You want me to open the door for you so you can leave? You want to get some tape for your mouth? But people after that class, though, they thanked me. They're like, thank God, man. We've been so tired of that guy. And I'm not saying like, go try to be a rehab tough guy at all. And that was a moment that I actually was not proud of. And I went back later and I told the guy, I'm like, look, man, I know you're probably dealing with some stuff. Obviously you're frustrated. I'm frustrated too, like with this, and this. And I think that we just kind of came ahead, and he was like, man, I appreciate that. He's like, I was going to come apologize to you because, I felt like this and that. And so it was a moment that I did learn from. But at that moment, I wasn't as far along as I am now, where it's like now I would probably just be like, nothing I can control about that dude and what he says, like I can either be a part of the solution or a part of the problem, like let's talk about it, like why do you want to Tell this lady